Welcome back to Plot Explained. Today, we're tackling one of the greatest films ever put to screen, 12 Angry Men. When I first watched this movie, I honestly couldn't believe what I had just seen. A story set almost entirely in one single room, 12 men sitting around a table, and yet, the tension, the drama, the raw human conflict. It had me more on the edge of my seat than most action blockbusters ever could. This isn't just a courtroom drama. This is cinema at its purest. Every line of dialogue matters. Every glance, every silence, every raised hand, it all carries weight. And the best part? It's not about flashy camera work, or explosions, or big twists. It's about people, about what happens when personal biases, tempers, and egos collide with the responsibility of deciding a boy's life or death. 12 Angry Men is a movie that doesn't just entertain you, it challenges you, it stays with you, it makes you think about justice, morality, and the courage it takes to stand alone. In this video, I'll break down the film completely, showing you how one lone juror plants the seed of doubt and slowly turns an entire room against its own certainty. And trust me, if you haven't seen this film yet, you're about to witness a masterclass in storytelling. So like the video, and let's dive in. The film begins in a New York City courthouse. Then we hear the voice of a judge as he gives instructions to a 12-man jury. The case is simple on the surface, but its stakes couldn't be higher. A young boy, just 18 years old, is accused of murdering his own father. If the jury finds him guilty, the sentence is mandatory death. The judge reminds the jurors that the verdict must be unanimous and that they must find the boy guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Then they're dismissed to begin deliberations. We follow the 12 jurors as they file into a hot, cramped jury room. It's summer, the windows barely open, and there's no air conditioning. Right away, the environment itself becomes part of the tension. It's uncomfortable, suffocating, a perfect pressure cooker for conflict. The men are a diverse group, not in terms of race or gender. This was the 1950s after all, but in personality, background, and attitude. Some are in a hurry to leave, some treat it casually, some already carry strong biases. Each man has his own reasons for wanting to get this over with. As they settle in, their foreman suggests taking a quick preliminary vote to see where everyone stands. 11 hands immediately shoot up for guilty. Only one hand stays down. Juror number 8, played brilliantly by Fonda. And just like that, the stage is set. One man against 11. Now let me give you an idea of the personality of every juror here. Juror number 1, the foreman. Tries to keep order, but he's not particularly strong-willed. Juror number 2, quiet, timid, easily swayed. He speaks softly and avoids confrontation, but slowly finds his voice as the film goes on. Juror number 3, the loudest voice in the room. He's hot-headed, aggressive, and has a personal grudge against young men, especially sons who disrespect their fathers. His bias is clear from the start. Juror number 4, calm, rational, but cold. He's a facts and logic guy, convinced that the evidence is airtight. He doesn't yell, but his certainty is almost intimidating. Juror number 5. Grew up in a rough neighborhood himself. He takes offense at assumptions and stereotypes, but he's not confident enough to speak up immediately. Juror number 6. Blue-collar, straightforward, not particularly clever, but honest and fair. Juror number 7. He couldn't care less. He's impatient, sarcastic, and openly admits he just wants to leave in time for a baseball game. Juror number 9. The oldest man in the room. He's observant, thoughtful, and notices details others dismiss. Juror number 10. Bitter, prejudiced, and openly racist. He hides behind stereotypes, convinced the boy is guilty because of where he comes from. Juror number 11. An immigrant watchmaker who respects the American justice system deeply. And he takes his duty very seriously. Juror number 12. An ad man. Superficial, indecisive, and more interested in appearances than substance. And finally, juror number 8, the lone dissenter. Calm, patient, but unshakable in his belief that doubt deserves discussion. After the first vote, the atmosphere grows heavy. 11 against 1, but Fonda doesn't shout or grandstand. He isn't claiming the boy is innocent. He's saying doubt deserves discussion. That's the seed that starts everything. He says he wants 1 hour. Just 1 hour of real discussion before condemning an 18-year-old kid to death. Then they begin their discussion by agreeing to go around the table and hear why each juror thinks the boy is guilty. Juror number 2 starts first. He admits he doesn't have anything specific, just that the evidence makes the boy seem guilty. Then juror number 3 speaks. He focuses on the testimony of the old man who claimed he heard the boy yell, "I'm gonna kill you," followed by a loud thud and then seeing the boy running away. To him, that's enough proof. Juror number 4 adds that the boy's defense was weak and unconvincing. He said he was at the movies the night of the murder, but he couldn't even remember the titles of the films he supposedly watched. Juror number 5 stays quiet at first and asks to pass. Juror number 6 explains that he was convinced early in the trial. The evidence and the testimonies felt strong to him. Juror number 7 jumps in saying he also thinks the boy is guilty, pointing to the boy's troubled past as proof. He's been in trouble his whole life, so this crime fits the pattern. That's when juror number 3 steps back in with more passion. He claims kids today aren't what they should be, they're disrespectful and weak. He even shows the group a photo of his own son, admitting that after a violent argument, his son ran away from home and never came back. Jurors number 4 and number 10 then add that the boy's background matters. He grew up in a slum, which they describe as a breeding ground for criminals. This finally pushes juror number 5 to speak up. He tells them he grew up in a slum too, and that doesn't automatically make someone a criminal. Once order is restored after juror number 5's outburst, the foreman turns to juror number 8 for his opinion. Juror number 8 explains that from the very beginning, the case felt like it was already decided to make the boy guilty. Even the boy's own lawyer barely fought for him. He points out that the entire case rests on just 2 witnesses, one who claimed to have heard something, and the other who claimed to have seen something. To him, that doesn't feel strong enough to condemn someone to death. Maybe those witnesses are wrong. Juror number 12 pushes back, asking why the witnesses would lie. They took an oath. But juror number 8 reminds him, they're still people, and people can be wrong. That's when juror number 3 jumps in, bringing up the murder weapon, the switchblade knife. Juror number 8 asks to see the knife again, so the foreman requests it to be brought into the room. While they wait, juror number 4 lays out the prosecution's story in full detail. The boy had a violent argument with his father, then went out and bought a knife, supposedly one of a kind. He met some friends, then went to the movies, and when he returned home later that night, he found his father dead. And the boy claimed he lost the knife on the way to the movies. At that moment, the court officer brings in the murder weapon. Juror number 4 emphasizes how damning it is. Not only was it rare, but it was also wiped clean of fingerprints. Juror number 8 doesn't deny that it looks bad, but he suggests it's still possible someone else used a similar knife to kill the father. Juror number 4 immediately rejects that idea, reminding everyone that this knife was supposed to be unique, one of a kind, and then, juror number 8 quietly stands, reaches into his pocket, and pulls out a switchblade identical to the murder weapon. Without a word, he flicks it open and drives it into the table right beside the original. The entire room goes nuts and everyone is shocked. If this knife isn't truly one of a kind, the prosecution's certainty suddenly doesn't seem so airtight. Still, most of the jurors aren't convinced. They admit it's technically possible someone else could have committed the crime with a similar knife, but the odds of that are 1 in a million. As the room settles again, juror number 10 throws up his hands in frustration. He says if juror number 8 is going to be this stubborn, they should just declare themselves a hung jury and let the case go back to court. But juror number 8 proposes something different. He suggests another secret ballot vote. This time, he won't vote at all. If all 11 of the others still choose guilty, then he'll change his own vote to guilty, and they'll convict the boy right there. The votes are cast, and the foreman begins reading them aloud. Guilty. 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 The pattern continues until the second to last slip. Not guilty. The room exhales in frustration. The count now stands at 10-2. The juror who changed his vote is juror number 9. When the others demand to know why, juror number 9 explains himself. He says he admired juror number 8's courage for standing alone, and he felt someone needed to support that. He doesn't claim the boy is innocent, only that he wants to hear more before making such a life or death decision. After a short break, the debate picks back up. Juror number 3 immediately returns to the old man's testimony, the one who swore he heard the boy shout, "I'm gonna kill you," before hearing a body hit the floor. And then there was the woman across the street who claimed she actually saw the boy stab his father through the windows of a passing 6-car L train. Juror number 8 challenges this. He asks the room if anyone has ever stood near an L train as it roared by. It's deafening. For about 10 seconds, you can't hear anything else. So how could the old man possibly hear those exact words shouted over that kind of noise? And how could the woman clearly see a stabbing through the blur of train windows? The timing doesn't add up. Juror number 3 calls it nonsense, but juror number 5 agrees. It's not possible the old man could have heard those words. Juror number 3 demands, then why would he testify to it? That's when juror number 9 quietly speaks up. He suggests the old man might have wanted attention. He lived alone, no one seemed to notice him, his clothes were shabby, he dragged his leg when he walked. Maybe, for once, he saw a chance to be noticed. Juror number 3 snaps in anger at the suggestion, but juror number 6 shuts him down. This raises another point. Even if the boy did shout, words like that are said in anger all the time. People don't always mean them literally. Juror number 3 insists the boy meant it, but juror number 8 pushes back. If he did mean it, would he really yell it loud enough for the whole neighborhood to hear? That question lands hard. Juror number 5 changes his vote to not guilty. The room is now 9-3. Juror number 7 is the next to speak. He says the boy must be guilty. After all, even his own lawyer didn't fight for him. But juror number 8 points out the lawyer was court-appointed. Maybe he didn't want the case at all. No money, no recognition, nothing in it for him. That alone could explain why the defense felt so weak. Then juror number 11 raises an important question. If the boy really did kill his father and then ran out of the house, why on earth would he return to retrieve the knife? Juror number 4 suggests maybe the boy realized the weapon could be identified, so he came back for it. But juror number 11 pushes back. If that were true, why didn't he just take it with him in the first place? Juror number 4 argues he could have panicked and left without thinking. But juror number 11 points out another flaw. If the boy ran off in panic, there's no way he would have calmly wiped off the fingerprints. Juror number 12 tries reasoning from another angle. If it were me, I would have gone back because I would assume nobody would find the body until the next morning. But juror number 11 quickly shuts this down too. The woman who testified claimed she screamed when she witnessed the murder. Wouldn't the boy have heard that scream and realized someone saw him? Juror number 4 insists it's possible he didn't hear it at all, either because of his panic, or because in a noisy slum neighborhood, screams were common background noise. Juror number 8 quietly suggests another possibility. Maybe the boy wasn't even there during the killing. Juror number 3 launches into yet another heated rant, but juror number 8 cuts through the noise and calls for another vote. This time, the balance shifts again. Juror number 11 changes his vote to not guilty. The room stands at 8-4. Juror number 3 turns his attention to juror number 11, demanding to know why he changed his vote. But juror number 11 calmly replies that he doesn't need to explain, he simply has reasonable doubt. Frustrated, juror number 3 grabs the knife and waves it, insisting there's no reasonable doubt at all. The boy killed his father with this very weapon. That's when juror number 7 circles back to the old man's testimony. He reminds everyone how the man claimed he got to his apartment door and saw the boy running away just 15 seconds after hearing him yell at his father. Juror number 5 questions the details. Did the old man actually say he ran to the door? Juror number 6 recalls that yes, he did say that. But juror number 4 clarifies. The testimony was that he went to the door, not that he ran or walked. Juror number 8 then asks for the apartment diagram to be brought in. His reasoning? The old man dragged his leg badly when he walked. It would have been impossible for him to reach the door in just 15 seconds, unless the apartment was extremely small. Juror number 3 tries to save the testimony, saying maybe it was 20 seconds. But when the others point out that the man specifically said 15, juror number 3 finally snaps, shouting, how could he know it was 15 seconds? He's an old man, half the time he was confused. How could he be sure about anything? And with that outburst, the room falls silent. Everyone stares at him, he doesn't even realize it, but in defending the timeline, juror number 3 has just destroyed the old man's credibility himself. The apartment diagram is brought in, and juror number 8 walks everyone through it calmly. The bedroom to hallway distance is about 15 feet, but the corridor and stairs to the front door add up to roughly 43 feet. The old man claimed he heard the body fall, went from his bedroom, crossed the hall and looked down the stairs, all in 15 seconds. Juror number 8 points out the key detail no one wants to ignore. The old man dragged his leg when he walked. So, Juror number 8 asks juror number 2 to time him and reenacts the whole sequence, deliberately dragging his foot like a witness. The men watch as he walks the measured path. When he finishes, the clock reads 41 seconds, nearly 3 times the time the old man claimed. Juror number 8 doesn't grandstand. He simply explains that, even if the old man did make it in time, he never actually saw the boy's face as the man ran down the stairs. He only assumed it was him. Juror number 3 scoffs, furious that the case is being dissected this way. He accuses the rest of the room of wasting time. To him, the boy is clearly guilty and the discussion is a charade. Juror number 8 calls him out for what he is, more invested in punishment than in facts. He suggests juror number 3's anger is personal and calls him a sadist. That accusation snaps something in juror number 3. He lunges into a string of threats and shouts at juror number 8 that he'll kill him. Juror number 8, steady and unflinching, asks him, "Do you really mean to kill me?" And the room falls silent. Once the room calms after juror number 3's outburst, juror number 11 quietly reminds everyone of their responsibility. None of them have anything to gain or lose here, which means the only thing that matters is justice. Juror number 6 suggests another vote, and the table agrees. This time, jurors number 2 and number 6 switch sides, bringing the count to an even split. 6 guilty, 6 not guilty. The guilty-leaning men groan in frustration, and the tension forces another short break. Outside, the storm has broken, rain lashes against the windows, and though the air is still heavy, the atmosphere in the room has shifted. As it pours outside, the foreman flicks on the overhead lights, and when juror number 7 idly turns the fan switch, the fan actually starts working. A small but symbolic shift in the room's energy. Meanwhile, juror number 3 tries defending himself to juror number 4, claiming juror number 8 baited him into losing control. But juror number 4 calmly points out that the bait still worked. When discussion resumes, the guilty jurors push to hang the jury, but the not guilty side refuses. Juror number 8 brings up a key point, the boy's alibi. He claimed he was at the movies but couldn't recall the film titles or actors when questioned, something juror number 4 previously said was suspicious. But juror number 8 turns the question back on him, asking about the last movie he saw. Juror number 4 confidently answers he went just last Monday. When pressed for the titles and actors though, he stumbles. Juror number 8 points out that juror number 4 isn't under emotional stress, yet even he can't recall. The implication lands hard, and juror number 4 goes silent. Juror number 10 snaps back that none of this matters. The boy is guilty, end of story. But juror number 2 suddenly speaks up, asking to see the knife again. He recalls that the stab wound was delivered at a downward angle, yet the boy is half a foot shorter than his father. Logically, it doesn't line up. Juror number 3 leaps in to demonstrate how it could have been done, reenacting a downward stab on juror number 8. And when the others watch, the wound does look possible. That's when juror number 5 finally steps in with authority. Growing up in the slums, he saw switchblades used often, though he hated them. He explains with conviction, a switchblade isn't used in an overhand motion, it's an underhand weapon. The wound described in the autopsy doesn't fit. Juror number 8 asks juror number 12 where he stands now, and number 12 hesitates, saying he's not sure anymore. Then juror number 8 calmly turns to juror number 7, asking for his stance. Tired, impatient, and wanting to leave for his ball game, juror number 7 flippantly changes his vote to not guilty. But it's clear he doesn't believe it, he just wants out. That's when juror number 11 lashes out. He demands to know what kind of man shrugs off the weight of another person's life just to make it to a baseball game. His outrage reminds the room that this isn't about convenience, it's about justice. Another round of voting is called, and this time the momentum shifts dramatically. Because juror number 1, 7 and 12 change sides, turning the tide to 3-9, juror number 10 goes on a hateful rant about people from the slums being born liars, criminals by nature. But instead of arguing back, one by one, the other jurors stand and turn their backs on him. No shouting, no debate, just silence. His prejudice is exposed for what it is, not evidence, just hate. Broken and humiliated, he goes to a side and sits in silence. Juror number 4 admits that many of juror number 8's arguments have been convincing, but he insists one piece of evidence is still unshakable: the testimony of the woman across the street. She claims she saw the murder with her very own eyes. That, to him, is the strongest point. Hearing this, juror number 12 flips his vote back to guilty, saying he agrees with number 4. But then, something small changes everything. Juror number 4 removes his glasses and rubs the marks on the sides of his nose. Juror number 9 immediately notices it, and suddenly remembers the woman on the stand. She had the very same marks. The room grows quiet as this detail sinks in. Juror number 9 points it out. The woman wore glasses. Everyone recalls it now, even though it wasn't mentioned in court. Juror number 3 tries to shout it down, saying it doesn't matter, but juror number 4 admits he noticed it too. And now he's listening closely. Juror number 8 calmly walks through it. Does anyone wear glasses to bed? Of course not. The woman testified that she was lying in bed when she glanced through the train windows and saw the murder happen. But if she wasn't wearing her glasses, how could she have clearly seen the boy's face across the street in the dark, through a moving train? The unshakable testimony suddenly doesn't seem so reliable. Juror number 12, feeling the weight of this, flips back to not guilty. Juror number 10 also gives in, saying he can't hold onto his vote anymore. Finally, juror number 4, who had been one of the most logical and steadfast supporters of guilt, concedes. He is now convinced of the boy's innocence. The count stands at 1 to 11. Now juror number 3 stands completely alone. Juror number 8 turns to him and calmly asks, "Why do you still think the boy is guilty?" That's when number 3 explodes. He rants, shouting about everything. The old man's testimony, the knife, the boy's shaky alibi, the woman across the street. His voice rises, insisting that no one here can prove all of it was wrong. As he rages, the room falls silent. Every other juror just watches him, not with anger, but with quiet judgment. Then, in his outburst, juror number 3 slams his wallet down on the table. A photograph slips out, a picture of him with his son. When he turns back, he sees the other's eyes on him, still silent. Something breaks inside him. He picks up the photo and, through clenched teeth, begins to tear it. Rambling about how kids today are spoiled, how they don't respect their fathers. But as the words leave his mouth, the truth sinks in. Juror number 3 realizes his judgment hasn't been about facts. It's been about his own bitterness, his hatred, his broken relationship with his son. He was never really seeing the boy on trial. He was only seeing his own child. Finally, overwhelmed, he breaks down, sobbing. With his voice shaking, he whispers the words, "Not guilty." The foreman marks the final vote. The jury has reached its decision. The men gather their coats and quietly file out of the room. Juror number 8 gently helps juror number 3 with his jacket, not with words, but with compassion. For all their conflict, they've just shared one of the most intense experiences of their lives. Outside the courthouse, as the jurors step into the daylight, juror number 9 walks up to juror number 8. For the first time, they exchange names. "Davis," says number 8. "McCardle," replies number 9. It's simple, almost casual, but it's powerful. Because after everything they've just been through, they're no longer just numbers. They're men who came together to serve justice. And with that, they all go their separate ways. The case closed, the boy's fate forever changed. So that's 12 Angry Men, a film that proves you don't need flashy effects, huge sets, or even more than one room to tell a story that hits harder than almost anything else. It's not just about a boy on trial, it's about us, our biases, our tempers, our blind spots, and how fragile justice can be when it's left in human hands. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. I've got plenty more classics and mind-bending films coming your way, and I can't wait to share them with you. This was Plot Explained, and I'll see you in the next one.